Yes.
Yeah. So I will start this in an app view and then go over to the just how it would look on the desktop. Just if it's super noisy in the background, just let me know. I kind of live in a construction site. Yeah, so when you log in, this is the page you'll get to. This will be the daily schedule on your own site. So here on this one, we'll see all of the tasks that needs to be done today, also forward. This should scroll better. It's not quite scrolling for me in this view on the computer, but it should scroll for you in the app. So you can scroll all the way down for any tasks that are scheduled and that you can answer already. And to answer any tasks, you just go on to that checklist. For this one, for example, just write what dish it is. So maybe we have fish today. And then what temperature it is for this one. And then that will become green. And then that's all done for today. And if we say do something else, maybe we just do some meat for this one. And then maybe the temperature isn't quite correct. So maybe it's 50 degrees. Then it will automatically create a deviation. It's out when it's outside of the temperature range that you need to fill in. And this one is set that you have to add a comment in here. So maybe you just say that, just write that it's broken for now. You can add someone responsible. So anyone that has access to your site, you can add them as responsible for this deviation. If they have an email address, you can send an email to them as well, so they get an email for the deviation. You can set a due date, so if this needs to be fixed before a certain date. And also there's an occur date if this deviation actually happened on another one than today's date. And then there is a button down there, and then you will just have your deviation created. And here now we see that we have a triangle. This one has turned orange, so which means that we know that we have an open deviation on this one. And if we go back out on to our daily schedule, we'll see here as well that we have open deviations in these two different checklists. So it just gives an overview in what checklist you have deviations. These will follow on the daily schedule until you actually close them. So you will see them tomorrow and the next day and so on until you actually go in and actively do something for your deviations. So you won't lose them, they will always be there. And to close them, you can just go into them. Here again, you need to write a comment on what you've done to it, and then you can just close it. And then if we open it up, we'll see that it's gone green here again. And then we can go down and we can read any history on this deviation. So we can always follow this up. You will also see this in the history, on the site history. If you go in, you can always read also about your deviations. Also on any tasks you have these little symbols down the bottom. So this one is that you can always leave a comment. So this pops up, you can just write a comment. So even if everything is okay, if you want to add a comment to a task, you can do that here. This can also be done for tasks in the past. So if you missed to answer something yesterday or last week, you can always go in and add a comment to that task. You can add a file to anyone, to any task. So you press this one, it will pop up so you can add a file. You can add a picture as well. So if you're in your phone, that should open up the camera directly. You just take your picture, and if you're on the desktop, it will just open up your library of pictures. And we also have the information button. This is where you can have more information about this specific task. So if you have for the specific one, you can have it will see up here. This one doesn't have a description, but it has a procedure that is connected to. So in here, I can read everything on the procedure that this task is connected to. And this is adjusted to the app as well, so it's easy to read on the floor. In here as well, we can see any information about the task. So we see what answer options we have. We can see the scheduling. So we see that this one is scheduled every selected day. And it's Monday to Friday. Someone that might need to mute.
Yes, it's muted.
Yeah. And yeah, so here we can see any information of the scheduling. This is just how it is categorized. So we can see that this is for operations. This could be food safety, anything. So we just see the category of the task in here. We see any answer history that has done in the previous 30 day. Now this is a demo site or test site, so we don't have that much history, but you will see that here. And also if you haven't done any changes. From here as well, we can press, and this is depending on what access you have. But if you have access to do any changes and updates to your site, you can press this little logo here up on the right. And then you can go in then here and do changes to this task. So you can change the name on it. And then you can just save it. So from here, what we can also do is we can copy this task. So if you want two of them or if a specific task, you can press these two little sheets on top of each other, and this will copy the tasks. So here we just need to give it a new name and save it, and then we will have a task that has the same scheduling and the same answer option. So we can also go into our little menu down here at the bottom, and if we go and press the edit button from here, we come in to the what we call the local library. So where we have all the tasks that is available for this site. And this is also going to be dependent on your access, what you can do in here. But if we go into this one, we can then copy a task again from here. So copy and change the name. We can move it between checklists. So if we click on this one, we can move it into another checklist. We can edit it. So in here, we can change the name of the task. And we should be able to change. Yeah, we can also change the scheduling in here. So we can click on other days. So we can, for example, if this should only be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we can untick these other ones. There's a description here that we can't update in the app, but you can add a local description for a task. And you can also add attachments to it. And these will only be, we can have central attachments that's attached to a task on central level, but these are for local attachments. So if you need to have a file or anything updated, you can update them here to the task. And you can also see the change log, and here you can see if you have had a central update or a local one for the site. Next one, just gonna go into forms. So forms is obviously something that's not scheduled most of the time. And yeah, they can be scheduled, but most of the time you can go in and open them at any time. So you just click on the one that you want to go into. So we click on this one, press on the one here to go and start new. And then from here, I just go and answer any of the tasks. They work the same as the daily schedule. You have the same options to add comments, add files or pictures, and if there's any information on the specific task, it's in here as well. You can see answer options, so you can see the same things on these tasks in the form as you do on the daily schedule. And then you just can press the button, answer everything. This one we have to have a picture on, so it's got mandatory pictures, so we can just add a picture in here. And then Let's go through and answer all of these. And then we're done, and we can complete the form. And then it's in here, so it's up the top. We see we have any, at the moment we just can see that is done when it's been created, and we'll see here as well if we have any deviations. And the deviation as well, they work the same as they do in the daily schedule. And then you can follow up on the deviations. So they're quite similar to how the daily schedule works. It's mostly that they're just not scheduled. So there can be things that you do, like this one, fire safety when it's needed. Sometimes we have down cooling in here, or deliveries, depending on how your schedule is looking in your kitchen. This can also be where audits are. So forms can be used for a lot of different things. But yeah, the main thing is that they're not scheduled, and they can also have scoring. The other thing that I wanted to show is, so under here on the menu, so we have this one called My Location. So we were on the tasks ones. That's the one we had looked at. This is what we call processes. This is something you can turn on and off depending on what tasks you have on your site. So this one takes food waste as an example. Maybe you don't use food waste, then you can untoggle this one and you won't see any of the tasks. So we use processes as a way to adjust your site. The other one is procedures. So this is like standard operating procedures, SOPs, how things are done. These can be connected to tasks. So when we were in tasks earlier and looked at this, and under the See More button, this is what they can be connected to. So these just look like this. They adjust to the phone and any instructions that are in here. And the other thing that we also just going to look at here is location closures. This is quite a new feature that has come a few months ago, which means that you can schedule your closures on your site. You used to be able to just pause your site when you were closed, and now you can schedule that pausing or schedule your closure. So you go in here, you choose when you want to be closed. So maybe you want to be from tomorrow and on Saturday, and then we can accept it and then okay it. And then we'll have it here. So this means that this will close our site at midnight tonight. It won't then run the scheduling, so there won't be any tasks scheduled for Friday and Saturday. And then it will open up again on Sunday. And you can set these, if you know that you're going to be closed certain dates of the year, you can go in and then set this for the whole year forward. This is also coming soon as a central feature, so this can be set on central level, but at the moment, this is a local feature. Sorry, got a bit far back. And the other thing that we're also going to look at again up here, go to My Location. It is compliance history. So this is where if you get a visit or anything, you can go in and show them your tasks are, what you have answered, any answer history you will see in here per checklist. So if we go into this one, for example, then we can see, as this is a demo tenant, we don't have much in here, but we can see completed tasks, we can check here for unanswered tasks, and we can also see deviations, open and closed ones. don't see the deviations we just created because this is from yesterday's date up here, but anything that you've answered and you will be able to see in here, and you can also change the date. So you can set it to what you want it to be in here. Any questions on the app? Otherwise, I'm going to go over to desktop. So this is what the daily schedule looks like on the desktop. So this again will be the starting page. Works quite similarly to the app. The difference, what you have in the app, you see everything that's scheduled going forward. So you can see if you have weekly tasks, etc. on in the app, where on the desktop you need to scroll forward and see if you have any tasks going forward. So we see that we have some here on Friday, but we need to click on Friday to see them. So it's just a little bit of a different overview, how you see tasks going forward. But same here, you can just go in and answer them, write it and submit. And if we look at deviation, they just pop up on the side here. And then again, you can just write and you see here that it ends up in the checklist. Also here again, we can see the little symbols we have. So the comment section that pops up, the files and the pictures. When you're on the laptop, it won't open up the camera. It will just open up your library. And the see more button in here as well with the information. So you can go in and read anything about the task and the procedure that is connected to it. And up the top here, you can go through answer history again, and we can see the change log. And also from here, you can delete, copy, or edit this task. So if you want to edit it, you just press edit. You can change the name of it. And if you scroll down, you can change the scheduling. Answer options are always set centrally. They will never be able to change them on local level. So mostly what you can change is the name of it, and you can change the scheduling. And same as, copy it. If you want a task that's similar, maybe you want to freeze it at number 3, you can just rename this, confirm. And then we can see here, we have that task that's been duplicated. So this is a way to adjust that your site has the correct names and stuff on fridges and freezers, and also the correct number. Here we have the menu on the left. We can go into my location again, where we find the tasks. So then here we can see our checklist. What we can also do in here, we can create local areas. We can also create local, so local checklist and local tasks. So if we want to create a local area here, we can just name it training for now. And then in here, we can either import tasks from the library. So if this from the central library, or we can press these 3 little dots and we can create a local task. And for the local task, we just will name it. Here, if you want a photo required, we can toggle that one on. So if you always want a photo open with it, there's also this create deviation when task is overdue. We only recommend this one to be on things like maybe is quarterly or monthly. We do not recommend this one on tasks that are for every day because it will rack up deviation. And if you have a lot of deviation, it will really slow down your system. So we don't recommend to use this one unless it's very specific occasions. Then go down to answer options, and here we have the different types. Date, free text, checkbox is mostly when you have yes and no. Number, if you just want a number. Interval is mostly used for temperatures. And then we have the drop downs that you can pre-create drop downs if you want preset answers. Then we have the scheduling. Now it's set to every selected day. This can also be every week, even odd week, monthly, quarterly, every 6 months, once. So there's a few different ones here to choose with. If you choose something like every week, you can choose what day this should be scheduled on. So maybe we say Sunday, but we can just choose how long it's going to be visible before. So maybe this is a weekly task that you can do anytime through the week, but last day is Sunday. So we can add it on Sunday, but we can make it visible 6 days advanced. So you can see it already from Monday, and you can go in and answer this task at any time through the week. And this one will only be on this specific site. It can't be copied up to central level, so it will just be for your individual site. The other thing that we can do as well, we can do on all tasks, was the added description. So if we scroll a little bit further down, here we can then add a description of the task that we will see under the information button. And also we can add any files if we want to. For forms as well, we find them in here. Pretty similar for the app. We just click on them and then go in and start new. And then when it's all done, we can just complete the form. So it's pretty similar to it was in the app to find them there. You can also, like we can delete them and all those kind of things. So you can press on the little more buttons. We can print, share, and remove any forms in here. Just going to go back to the daily schedules to show another thing on here. We have something called ad hoc deviations, which is this little plus button up here. It is if you want to create a deviation that's not attached to a task. So maybe you come in the morning and there's graffiti everywhere or something is broken. You can create a deviation in here, just fill in all the fields required. Choose what type of deviation. Normally we use this one, regular comment require. So it's easy. So you actually have to write a comment on why you're creating this deviation. We can also have the ones with corrective actions. You just have, there's a few more steps to close them. So it will be a business decision what kind of deviation you would use here. But you just describe it or you name it and then you describe it. And then it will work as any other deviation. It will be there until you close it. You need to add it into checklist here. So it's just one of the current checklists that you have. It's just where it will kind of hang out. So it doesn't have to do anything to that checklist. It's just, yeah, kind of where you want it to, where you can find it later. We can go in just to look at the overview. So this is the local overview page. This just gives some information on your site. We'll see if we have any open deviations. If you use severities, you will see them up here. We'll see the, as I say, compliance score for the last 7 days, the daily schedule, and also this new feature that's come quite recently, which is the updated procedure features. So if you have this using the functionality, you might have to go here and look at new procedures that has been created on central level, and then you can acknowledge that there's been an update made to them. And then if we go back on to the menu, we can have the processes. Is where we turn on and off per site. Here we can also see how everything's kind of is connected together. So we see here food safety, for example. We can see what procedures we have connected to food safety and also what tasks we have under food safety. So this is both to just see, I understand this page can be a bit overwhelming to start off with. But when you get a bit more used to it, you will probably find it quite useful. But yeah, it just gives an overview on how everything is connected. And as I said, where you can turn things on and off. So if you don't have food waste, you can turn that one off and you won't see those tasks again. Then the same for the procedures. You can go in, look at them. Depending on what access you have, you can go in and edit. Then you added them on local level. So if you want to add something to them, or something like that. What's good to know that if you add any description to it here, it will override the central one. So I would suggest if you still want the central one, that you press copy central description, and then you can add anything extra that you would like locally. And then also down here, then we can add attachments. We have the business details page here as well. This page just gives you an overview as well on task, but this can be printed. So for here, for example, if we look for food safety, we see what processes are attached, what procedures, we can see what tasks, and we can see when they're scheduled. And this one can be printed to PDF. So you can just print this and it will come out in a PDF file. And then lastly, we just have the pause location, which is when you pause it for the day, or if you just want to pause it immediately, but also the location closures. And again, you just choose the date where you want them. Today's date. Okay. And there it is. And as I said, you can have lots of them here. Now we just have the one, but you can go in and add this for if you're closed for Christmas and Easter and any other holidays. For example, you're closed, you can go in and add them early on, so you don't have to think about pausing your location at a later time. That was all I was planning to go through in this session. Do we have any questions? Crystal clear?
No. Excuse me. I have a question.
Yeah.
Some of the features, I don't know if it was like because I'm using the app or because I lost a little bit like some of the few initial minutes.
Yeah.
For example, the one that we were like talking about now, like the closing features and everything. When I look at like the app on my phone, I go like up until like procedures and tasks. I don't get like the other options. Is it like a specific like update or like there is like a limited access to features according who is?
It might be that it's not be turned on for the, this is quite a new feature and it needs to be toggled on the roll. So it might be just that it's not visible for you. If you just let us know where you're from, we can look into that and look into the access on that company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? Great.
Yep, everyone. Okay.
Cool. Well, as I said, we've recorded this. We can send the link out as well after, so you can look at it. We'll upload it to YouTube and just send out the link so it's available for you or anyone else that would like to see it. And yeah, if there's anyone else, for example, that don't have access to this scheduling, pausing or anything like that, just let us know. We can look into that the create toggles and everything are turned on for the rows.
Okay,
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian
Christine.
and Tove.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.